Welcome to Denise Live. I'm your host, Lonas Group CEO, Shauna Knapp, and today we're going to be looking at bolster your reputation with a professional online presence with our very own Randy Bowers. Your online presence could be a heroic partner in your business or a silent wound that is hurting you without you even knowing. We'll be discussing the value of an online presence, what you should have even if you aren't marketing online, the highest value places that you have to have your presence polished, and the details worth focusing on. A good online presence makes all the difference. This episode of Denise Live is being recorded and will be available for your access later, which you may want to take a closer look at when reviewing your online presence. And now, without further ado, I'd like to turn things over to Randy.
Well, hello, everybody. It's good to see all of you. Social media profiles is something I've spent a lot of time on over the years here at the Lonas Group, and I have helped many of you who are here today and many other agents as well. I was doing a review, and I have done over 100 projects with different clients on social media just over the last few years. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. But today, yes, bolstering your reputation with a professional online presence. This is something that, as Shauna mentioned in the introduction, I see every day. Every single day, I come across real estate agents that have poor-looking online profiles or poor or very sparse presence online. And as we'll see here in our statistics, that I'm going to show you throughout our presentation here, as we talk with each other, people are looking. They are verifying and validating and checking you out online, and what you have out there makes a difference. It may not be how they found you in the first place. They may have heard you from a referral, but they are looking at what your online presence looks like and making a judgment call about how professional you look and whether you're the right person to represent them, either as a buyer or a seller. We're going to, in a moment here, take a look at a quick chart that shows where people think they find their agents. But based on information from RE Simply, which collects statistics specifically on the real estate industry, and HubSpot, which connects, it tracks leads all the way from where they first encounter you, all the way through the nurturing process to what they do at your website and whether they make a phone call or not. Between these two tools, they agree that despite what clients think, about 38% of them come from social media, whether you know it or not, from their perspective. That means that as part of the decision-making process before they reached out to you and actually became a client, they were checking out some social media online and making a decision about that. Now, home buyers and home sellers, they have a different opinion about how they say they chose their agent. But if you pay attention to the different columns on the left there, you're going to see that we're in pretty close agreement here. A lot of buyers and sellers, they think that they chose their agent based on referrals from friends. That's good. That's strong. That's actually lower than it was a few years ago. It's gone down from about 65%. Personal relationships, of course, still make a difference. So staying in follow-up with your clients. But then we get to the same kind of numbers that we were looking at just a moment ago from RE Simply and HubSpot, where we're talking about how do people find them through online reviews, that means social, or online platforms, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, also social media, online presence stuff, or online search. Well, where did they find you in online search? Did they find you searching for a real estate agent on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or just in Google search results and then clicked on something? That's also online reputation right there. And then kind of down towards the bottom, we see traditional advertising, for sale signs, print, that kind of thing. That's how they found their agent. Now, there's an interesting thing about this, that very last statistic, and I'll just take an aside for a moment to talk about print advertising. Part of the reason that 18%, I think, is low is because not enough real estate agents are doing it. And the other thing is I have been seeing and looking into a lot of statistics lately about what the advertising and marketing preferences are of various generations that are out there. And millennials and Generation Z, who are beginning to buy homes, actually prefer print marketing and the value of it over online marketing that they see in their Facebook feed or their LinkedIn feed or Twitter or whatever. Online advertising is often seen as less trustworthy, and some of our statistics we'll see today will back that up. And having something that was personally sent to them has a stronger impact on them. So, something to consider as you are thinking about doing a print marketing campaign or something like that. But back to online things. That's why we're here. 90% of agents, real estate agents, use Facebook for, and I put quotes here myself, lead generation. That's from Recently. Yet, Facebook ads for real estate have an average click-through rate of less than 2%. That's Hootsuite, which tracks how often people click on things, and you can set up advertising through their platform to Facebook. So they can see the whole process from end to end. Yet, so 90% of agents are using Facebook for lead generation, even though they don't perform very well. And yet, only 48% of agents have a presence on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn generates 3 times as many leads as Facebook or X, used to be Twitter, when used correctly. So, what does that mean for you as a real estate agent? Because a lot of real estate agents, they'll come to me and they'll say, I need to improve my Facebook profile. I want to have a banner and do all of these different things on Facebook. And yeah, that's great. People will check you out on Facebook. It may not be the best tool for lead generation, but it's good to have a well-rounded, good-looking profile on all the major networks. But if you are using social media for lead generation, you should probably go where fewer agents are, so lower competition, but you have more opportunity at the same time. So it's win-win if you are doing marketing for your business on LinkedIn. It's just taken more seriously. The people that are there in social media terms are more activated towards action. They're at LinkedIn not to necessarily have fun. They're there to make decisions and find people and get connected with things. Or maybe they're there to do marketing like I am. All right. Speaking of LinkedIn, let's take a look. Now, I'm going to start off with LinkedIn today because LinkedIn is probably the most complicated social network, and it's definitely one that you want to be on. We have seen agents when we were doing training in our live Encore group, and we were encouraging all of our members to improve their LinkedIn profiles. We had many people in that class that saw results from that they were not expecting, where people called them up to perform listings, or where a listing that they acquired through their social media led to more listings. And these were not small deals either. One of them, correct me if I'm wrong, Shauna, I don't remember the agent in question. I don't want to say the wrong name, but they picked up $1 million listing because they had updated their LinkedIn page just within a day or two of having done so. And the impressiveness of their LinkedIn page was cited as one of the reasons why that client's call was made to them. That's right. Okay. So I'm going to pick on Stephen here.
Randy, one more.
Yeah.
So that same week, we actually had the second agent who actually got a call, and she was specifically told, yeah, your LinkedIn profile is why I called you. And her thinking was, how many people haven't called me because I didn't have something on my LinkedIn profile, and that's not quantifiable. So it just was like an aha moment for her too. So two separate situations when we really put a lot of focus on this in Encore to really ramp this up. So very compelling information.
Shauna makes an excellent point here. Uh, when people reach out to you to do business with you, because they're checking you out or whatever, they have a question, most agents aren't really keeping track of like where people are coming from. But the more important point that Shauna made here is that the people who don't call you, that's the hidden wound that was being referred to in the introductions here. You don't know how many people are being turned away from your business because you don't look very good online. And it does make a difference. So I encourage people to do something about their social media profiles so that they can put that concern to bed and be making great first impressions out there. We're going to see that, like, it's in the 90s, the 90th percentile of people that are looking online to vet agents before ever making a phone call. So who knows if you haven't paid attention to your online presence, it doesn't matter if you're not doing any marketing online. It doesn't matter if you're not interested in sharing your life online. It doesn't matter if you are not being social and following your clients and leaving comments and things like that. If if you are the person that doesn't do those things because you don't see value in it, that makes no difference in how people are making judgments about your business when they search for you online. You should still try your best to have a good presence there, even if you're not actively using it. Now, I'm going to pick on Stephen a couple of times in today's presentation. He's an agent somewhere in the Midwest, we'll say. And I found Stephen in a few different places online, and Stephen is very common. The Stevens of the real estate world are out there. They have online profiles that maybe they claimed because they were told to at a class. They claimed it, they logged out, they never went back and took another look. And now they have this ugly bare bones profile that is hurting their business more than it is helping them. We've got no portrait. We don't know what he looks like. We can't compare it to marketing. So Stephen's doing geographical farming, let's say, or mailing campaign, and I get a piece of his mail, and then I go out to verify him online. I can't compare his portrait on his mailer to what I'm finding online. So I can't make any easy visual connection between the two and say that, oh, this is the agent that I was looking for so that I can find out more information about him. Not that there's a lot here. He doesn't have any brand. There's nothing setting him apart. This looks and is a abandoned LinkedIn profile. But Stephen, if he was in the state of Washington at least, is also not doing a very good job of disclosing his brokerage. Now, down there in experience, down near the bottom here, I don't know if you can see my mouse there, right there. He did actually name his brokerage. I looked up Stephen online and he doesn't actually work there anymore. So Stephen was in Washington State. He would be failing to satisfy Washington State's laws on online marketing for real estate agents. He's not disclosing his brokerage property or his position within that brokerage. He has a bland title. We'll talk about that in a moment. And there's just so much missing info as we're going to see in a moment. So don't let this be you. LinkedIn is one of the most thorough places where you can share information. I'm going to take you really quick through Denise's, and I'll be upfront with you. We've spent a lot of time on Denise's profile over the years. This did not happen overnight. This didn't happen in a couple of hours. So if you want to model yourself after this, 2 thumbs up. but don't expect to accomplish it in an afternoon. This is the kind of thing that we've come back to and contributed over and over. What I want you to get out of it, however, is ideas about what you can do to make improvements here. And I would say LinkedIn, next to Google, which we'll look at next, are two of the most important places that you can have an online presence. Here, right up front, we've got our brokerage identity, the Lonas Group right up here. Now, we're a coach. We're not operating the Lonas Group as a managing broker or a broker or a designated owner or those kinds of things. So if this was in Washington State, you would say I'm a designated owner. But what you can also say alongside that is you can tell people what it is that you do as part of that role. And that makes a really strong upfront clue, an active clue about what it is that you do and your focus upon it right there at the top of LinkedIn. We've got a nice, strong description. I'm not going to show it all of you, but it's got Denise's different awards and things that she's done over the years and what her interests in real estate are and her journey through it. We have links to her different resources that are throughout here. So this featured media here, this is something that real estate agents should be taking advantage of. These could be like posts that you have made online. It could be an introductory video that you have done that you sourced from YouTube. It could be any number of things. But what this does in terms of LinkedIn is it turns this page, which can be really long and a lot of text, into having places for people to visually pause and consume something that lets your voice speak for you. So we have like these videos here from YouTube from Denise. We have our services here. Now, for you, real estate agents, this is going to be stuff like, what are your niches? Do you do staging? Do you work with a particular type of buyer seller? Do you have expertise in investments? Those kinds of things. A little bit further down the page, we're going to see posts. For example, see this page got a little bit messed up when I was creating it last night. Posts, so you can post content on LinkedIn. And when you share content on LinkedIn as like an article, that article then appears on your profile. So if you write an article on like, say, a market update, or you're reviewing changes that are happening in a particular neighborhood, or any number of other content ideas, I think a blog post, right? If you share that blog post as an article on LinkedIn, it will appear on your profile and give people another way to encounter you and to see something visual on your profile. Experience, you'll notice we also included photos right there because we have associated projects with experience at a particular place. And I'd also like to draw your attention to, in our experience, we have a little bit of a sentence for each one of these places. Now, if you don't want to write about what you did there, maybe it's not relevant because maybe it came from a past profession. You can always just include like a one sentence description of what that business is taken from the about section of that business's website. So that way people can like at least get an idea of what your background is, but focus on the real estate related ones because that text is going to help your profile appear more strongly inside of search results when people are searching for you. We have education, and one place where I see a lot of real estate agents, like 99% of you guys, you don't include your licensing education. So if you're here in Washington State, and let's say you went to the Rockwell Institute for your initial training, put that in here, and then talk about why that's of value to the people that you serve. Licenses and certifications, you are licensed real estate sales brokers here in the state of Washington. You should include that in your LinkedIn profile. Certifications, I'm talking designations. So whether that's ABR or ePro or whatever, CRS, put that kind of stuff in here. Projects with pictures. So projects might be like helping a client with a modeling project, or maybe you were the viewing broker for a new construction site, or maybe you are involved in some way in your community that's not necessarily related to real estate, but it's a project that you have passion for. This is a place where you can share that kind of thing. And unlike organizations and volunteer work and stuff like that that's further below, here in projects, you can include pictures that really emphasize the value of what it is that you're doing. Speaking of volunteering, you should include all of the things that you volunteer for in your roles here. Some of those may be industry things, but I think that when you are doing volunteering, besides the mental health benefits, if you are including volunteering and drawing attention to, say, maybe you work with a local food bank, or you donate some of your commissions, or you sponsor Little League or some kind of sporting events, or you work with shut-ins, or you help people declutter homes, whatever it happens to be. If you're in the Windermere brokerage, maybe you participate in their Windermere Foundation. That's if you participate in that, that's part of your volunteer work. So include that information here. Skills. LinkedIn's done a lot to improve skills over the years. So if you're familiar with LinkedIn from like 10 years ago, skills were like this section where basically you were just bragging about what you could do. And sometimes people would vote for you and they'd basically say, yeah, skills, this person, I agree with them, they have this one. These days, it's a lot more intertwined. You can associate your skills with different things throughout your profile. So if you looked back up in my previous slide where we were talking about experience in education, you'll see real estate coaching and new home sales as, part of the things that are there under president. Or under John L. Scott Real Estate, we've got new home sales and real estate marketing. And if we go up to the very top, we see top skills underneath the about description: real estate coaching, real estate marketing, new home sales. These are skills, and we've associated them with specific things. Now, this does two things for us. One, it adds a bunch of keywords to our profile, so we show up more for those kinds of things. So if you have a specialty that you work with, not a bad way to see that phrase throughout your LinkedIn profile. And two, it's more likely that people will actually see that information and associate it with you, because now it's not just in one place, buried 5, 6, 8 panels down the page. For LinkedIn, we recommend a minimum of 2 recommendations, and you have to ask for them from LinkedIn in order to get them. And the reason why we recommend a minimum of 2 is because we can show up to 2 right up front in our profile. If you have 3, 4, 5, that's great. We've got plenty here for Denise, but people have to expand this pane in order to be able to see the rest of them. So minimum of 2. And then publications, so guides that you have that you participated in. If you write up, a top home sellers guide for the area that you work in, blog posts, those kinds of things, you can also share those here, but you'll take note, we can't see pictures of them here like we could up above in the featured media, which is way better, or in the posts where you've published things to LinkedIn. Honors, awards, languages, organizations. Organizations is a great place to showcase where you're involved. So are you part of NAR? Put that here. Add some supporting text. You part of National Home Builders, Seattle King County Association of Realtors, Tacoma, Kitsap, whatever your organizations are that you're involved in, Washington Realtors. I'm naming ones that are here in the state of Washington. Include those organizations here. What they do is they tie you more strongly to your industry. They show it doesn't seem like a big deal to us. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. If I'm in NAR, of course I'm in my state chapter and I'm in my local chapter as well. Okay, but to the layperson that comes and visits your profile, They don't understand that these are necessarily the exact same organization, just broken down. What they see is, oh, this agent's involved in three parts of the real estate industry rather than one, or rather than none. Interests, causes, all of that kind of thing. Now, behind the scenes here in Denise's profile, we're also, and this is the theme that we're going to be looking at throughout today, we're looking for consistent contact info that we're using throughout any of the places that we have our online profiles. In LinkedIn, we have made our contact email address public. You can control this in the settings for your profile. You can actually make your email address publicly visible to people so that even if they're not on LinkedIn as a logged in, they can still access your email address and reach out to contact you. So we're giving people more options to reach out to us in the way that they are accustomed to reaching out. And in the same spirit, we also have made our public profile, which I didn't show here today, to be as inclusive as possible so that people and search engines that are looking at our LinkedIn profile can see as much of that information as possible. And it's not behind LinkedIn's login wall that keeps people out. These different things will make that profile a lot more effective. It'll give you far more exposure when you're out there. 97% of home buyers consider online reviews before making a decision to hire a real estate agent. This is according to this most recent year's buyer profile from earlier this year from NAR. And one of the best places to have online reviews is Google, because this is the first place that a lot of people turn to when searching for a real estate agent. They don't go to Zillow directly and type in your name and search for you as an agent there. They search for you on Google and then they click on your Zillow profile and go there. So this is what they are seeing first. And having a Google business profile has some huge benefits. I'm going to be taking a look at Sherry Butler and Matt Stapleton. Butler and Stapleton are a team that we work with that came to me to help them out with their social media profile. And they've got things working right for them. They've got photos of their business that they've uploaded. They've begun building reviews that they have here so people can easily find them and click on them. And this whole pane of stuff that's going down the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, we're just searching for Butler and Stapleton, like no particular special search. I could be like a person who got a referral to them and I'm just checking them out online. And they are absolutely dominating these search results. I'm not seeing Butler and Stapleton clothing. I'm not seeing Butler and Stapleton somewhere else in the United States. They own this page, all of the search results, because they have all of these social media profiles that have been polished up. So they got reviews. They have completed their profile with their contact information so people can call them right from here. How often do people call directly from Google? Not a flood. Here in the Lonas group, I would say we get about 5 or 6 phone calls a week directly from Google. But that's 5 or 6 phone calls more than we might have gotten otherwise because of the convenience of having our contact information as part of our business profile. So again, another situation where it's like what you don't know is probably hurting you. We've got our address. It's going to be consistent. So if we had our address in LinkedIn, we're going to use exactly the same format here. We're going to spell out Suite F, not STEF. We're going to, say Ave instead of Avenue. We're writing it exactly the same way. So it's super easy for search engines and AI and stuff like that to say, oh, these profiles definitely belong with each other. We've got our phone number there, and we have our business hours. I want to call specific attention to business hours. Before I work with real estate agents, I often notice that their business hours are 24 hours a day. Now, if you know Denise, and many of you do, she would say, where are the rules in your business? Are you really always on? Can people really call you at 3 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning? And some of you might think to yourself, well, yes, if the phone rings at 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to pick it up. I'll be ready to talk business. I will be my best self and be able to serve that client any time of day. But most people who are out there online are more considerate about when they're actually going to reach out and call you, even if they're on the other side of the world and looking to relocate. They're going to try and do it during business hours. So when you publish your actual business hours, if it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., awesome. If it's 8 to 10, whatever. When you specify your business hours, you are giving people permission to call you at times when they might be too conservative and feel uncomfortable about calling you then. So I always say, don't just put 24 hours a day for your business hours. Actually put down some thoughtful business hours about when you are at your best to talk to people, because nobody believes that you're awake and available 24 hours a day. Social media links down there near the bottom, number 6. This is actually a relatively new feature of Google search, but there's 2 great benefits here. One is, of course, it shows up right on the side, just in case you aren't showing up everywhere like Butler and Stapleton are, dominating the search results on the left. We've still got their links to their social media on the right. So it's really easy for somebody that's doing verification to come here, say, oh, Facebook. I don't see it in the search results, but that's what I'm looking for. I want to see what are they doing on social media, and they can get to there really easily from here. But Google also runs a search engine. Did you know? So one of the benefits of having your social media profiles connected to your Google business account here is that Google will then associate those business profiles more strongly with you. And it raises their confidence that when people search for somebody like Butler and Stapleton, they are more likely to have those profiles show up alongside this panel of information that's on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, Google's more than search. There's also Google Maps. With your business listing, you get put on Google Maps. So people can easily find you inside of mobile. Maybe you don't work at that office all the time, but Google Maps is also a really easy place for people to write reviews and easily add to your collection, your treasure trove of reviews that are out there impressing people for first. But Google Maps is more than just maps. Google Maps is also used by a lot of personal assistants. So is it Cortana, which isn't really around anymore? Is it Siri? Is it Alexa? Those kinds of things. They use Google Maps to establish like what kinds of services are local to the area that the person is looking for services in. So if I say, hey, Siri, Google, Alexa, whatever, who is the nearest real estate agent that specializes in new construction, first-time buyers, who can help me go to an open house today, whatever. Those services will look here and they will find somebody that's local to the person that's asking the question. And so having a Google business profile puts you on the map so that you can be considered for being connected to those people who are asking those questions. And this is just going to become more potent as time goes on. And then last but not least, I don't know that anybody here is probably aware of this, but if you're doing a pretty good job of having a great online presence, Google's AI is going to take note. And look at this great summary that has been put together for Sherry Butler and Matt Stapleton. It's taken information from all their different social media and gathered it into one place. I can see links to their profiles. I can see that they have things like new home expertise with their CSP certification, local expertise, where they're looking, all of this If I'm asking questions of an AI, whether it's ChatGPT or whatever, this kind of information is going to be gathered up by that AI, or maybe it'll go out onto the internet and actively look for it. And then it provides me with this great summary that tells me all about who these people are. And they're cited. There's citation links all throughout here. You can see one next to each one, so we can find out where did that information come from. We can do this by interlinking our accounts. So at LinkedIn, we're linking to our other profiles like YouTube or Facebook or whatever. We do this because we had consistent contact info, like I talked about earlier, and a consistent business address. Those kinds of things allow search engines to produce results like this. AI is only getting more popular, so we're going to see more things like this in the future. All right. Enough LinkedIn, enough Google. So Google for reviews, LinkedIn, that's your resume. 96% of home buyers search online for their next home. That number's been pretty steady for about a decade now. It's about a decade ago it was 88%. Here we are at 96%. That increases to 99% among millennials, and among baby boomers, it's closer to 90%. Again, NAR's 2025 buyer profile. Whether you have an opinion about Zillow or not, a lot of that searching happens in places like Zillow or Redfin or other places, but mostly in those two places. They've really cornered the market there. So you should have a Zillow profile. This is your number 3 that you want to have. Just really quick, consistent portrait. This is if you go and you look for my friend Steve Lavastu, who many of you may know if you're from the Seattle area, he is an absolute force of nature when it comes to real estate. Part of that is because of his online presence, and part of it is because Steve goes to work every day. But if you look at his online profiles, you will see that he has a consistent portrait on every single place. So whether I see him on LinkedIn, whether I see him on Zillow, whether I see him on Google, wherever he is, I see Steve's face and I can associate it with his print marketing, and it's always the same picture. So I don't have to guess whether I found the right person or not. He's got tons of reviews. He's always sending people here. Now, people didn't come to Zillow for reviews first. They probably got here through Google, but Steve is really aggressive about asking people for reviews on his Zillow profile. And that assists him in a couple of ways. It means that if somebody is searching for looking at homes, for example, in an area where there aren't a lot of people paying for being positioned at Zillow in that area, Steve's strong profile, particularly his many reviews, elevate him above other people and increase the likelihood that his profile will be shown for free as a suggestion to people that are looking in that area at homes. Just gives him a little extra exposure. He's got a strong bio, and here in LinkedIn, this is something you can do. Put a link to your website or a link to one of your other profiles or whatever it is. Put that right up front so that people can really easily traverse from here to maybe somewhere where you feel like you have a stronger presence, like your website. You can put lots of links in your Zillow profile. His specialties, easily, you just select from a list of checkboxes. And here, kind of like that Google profile that we were just looking at for Sherry Butler and Matt Stapleton, we have links to his other social media. And you may be noticing a theme here. In LinkedIn, we link to a bunch of people, our other social media. At Google, we're linking to our other social media. In Facebook, we're going to link to our other social media. And we're doing it here at Zillow too. Because the more interlinked all these things are, the more confidence that search engines and people can have when they are vetting you. Behind the scenes, again, that consistent contact info, the right formatting. And also, in particular at Zillow, we haven't just added in the areas that we work. And for Steve, there's not that many. He's very Seattle focused. But we've also added in all of the zip codes that Steve works in too, calling particular attention to all of the zip codes through Seattle. And yeah, it's a bit of a chore entering in all the zip codes. You look them up on Google, you hammer them in into Zillow. And again, that gives you an opportunity, along with your strong bio and your reviews and your complete profile, for Zillow to be encouraged to show you as a suggested agent when people are searching for homes in an area that doesn't have a lot of competition, paid competition for positioning. 71% buyers choose agents with a strong social media presence. So it matters. What that statement doesn't say is, what does that mean for agents that don't have a strong social media presence? It's hard to prove a negative, though. Among sellers, it's about 40%. So a little bit less. Maybe that's because there's a much more referral work going on for sellers, but it's still a very significant number of sellers that are looking out there and making a decision based on social media presence. All right, we're back to Stephen. Don't let this be you. One of the profiles that are out there that I see overlooked on every agent that I work with nearly, very nearly, is profiles at Realtor.com. Some of that's because the agents that I work with will say, but I'm not a realtor, so why should I have a profile there? Well, here's a fact. You have one there, even if you're not a realtor. And if that profile is unclaimed, then it's going to look like this. And the other thing about Realtor.com is that it is a very powerful website that frequently shows up in search results, very close to the top. Oftentimes it's like number 2 or 3 if people are searching for you by name. So we don't want people to get this impression of an unclaimed profile. They don't know that it's unclaimed, even though it's called out to them right at the bottom of the page. They just look at this and they think, oh, this real estate agent, realtor, real estate agent, same thing. I don't know the difference. They just didn't bother. And that's not a good impression to make. Plus, Stephen, his name's misspelled. Everywhere else it's spelled with a PH, but this is the same guy. He's got old brokeraging info. So again, if you're in Washington State, this is not satisfying marketing requirements. It's an unclaimed profile and it's got outdated contact information. It's missing a bio. Don't let this be you. This is a terrible first impression, and it's a really powerful website profile that can serve you well. People will leave recommendations and testimonials here for you. It's so easy for them to do so, just like at Zillow. And it's such a good profile if you have it filled out. Katie's another client of mine that I recently worked with. And so we built out her Realtor.com profile. So if you compare this with this, it's like night and day. We got her portrait, the year her business started. We can see that she's got a couple of reviews here. I'd say at least 2, just like at LinkedIn. But if you can do 4, that's better. She is very aggressive with being a listing agent. So Katie's got quite the background in that. So sales, that's automatically pulled in for her. Her specialties. Okay, here we are. We're naming and claiming it. We work these things. We do acreage. We do seniors. We do investors. She's got her bio, and her bio, man, she is calling attention to the best things that she's got out there. 10 years, more than 500 buyers and sellers with their homes. That's pretty awesome. Contact info right there at the bottom. Again, consistent areas that she serves. Now, what's also shown here in these areas that she serves is we again have put in all of the zip codes for each of these cities that she works inside of to further reinforce the fact that she is tied very closely to these areas. So Realtor.com, it's a valuable place. Go claim your profile. Don't let it look like Stevens, because right now it does, unless you've done something about it. Even if you're not a realtor, claim your profile. Now, if you are a realtor, you can put your NRDS number in there and it'll automatically pull in all of your designations that you got through your affiliation with NAR. So that's a side benefit that you'll get if you are actually a member of NAR. One last thing about Realtor.com is reviews versus testimonials. There's a difference on this platform between one and the other. Reviews are given by clients. They're not something you typed in. They're verifiable, so you can't edit them. They had to be requested. But you do get to give your permission to have that review appear on your Realtor.com profile. So you don't have to worry about a nasty competitive agent or a nasty client or something like that writing some crummy review for you. You give permission for reviews to be shown on your Realtor.com profile, and they include ratings. Testimonials, on the other hand, you can enter as many testimonials onto your Realtor.com page as you want to. 4 or 5 looks good. Your visitors probably aren't going to know the difference between reviews and testimonials. So testimonials are a great way to get some content up there recommending you, speaking for you on your behalf before you have had any reviews actually given to you by other people there. And you get to hand select them. And you could potentially have dozens and dozens of them if you want to put the time in. So that's the difference, reviews versus testimonials. One's given by the client and one is entered by you. I love this picture. 57% of real estate agents believe that social media helps them maintain client relationships. And I am largely, and real estate agents are largely thinking of Facebook when they make this kind of statement. And you might remember way back at the beginning of today's Odyssey, I put lead generation in quotes when we were talking about using Facebook. And the reason why is we, Denise, Shauna, myself, see agents use social media every day. And a lot of you are going to places like Facebook and you're wasting a lot of time. You're doom scrolling. So you're just looking at one thing after the next and feeding that dopamine addiction that Facebook is designed to do and capture you for. And you're not actually making strategic choices about posting there or the kind of information that you're giving out or what that looks like. You're focused too much on the social conversation, giving people thumbs up, frowning at political views that don't agree with, those kinds of things. Thumbs up, frowny faces, comments on, congratulations, things like that on people's changes in their lives. Those things are not advancing your business. They are wasting your time. So I encourage you, if you're going to use Facebook as part of your business, and you should have a professional looking profile there because it ranks really well and shows up well in search results, and there's a lot of people there, even if you don't use it. But if you're going to use it as a business, use a social media management platform. We use Social Pilot. And what that does is it keeps you at arm's distance from the doom scrolling addiction that is out there and lets you focus on the things that really matter that are going to advance your business on Facebook. Things like responding to comments, things like putting a post out there. Those kinds of things can help you, but the little bits of communication and stuff, they don't actually help you very much. And most agents aren't actually commenting as much as they think they are. They're just consuming and wasting time. So don't be that agent. Use a tool to help give yourself that discipline if you don't have the discipline already to stay focused on your business mission when you're doing business on Facebook. Save your social time for a different part of your evening. So, speaking of Facebook pages, here's an example of a good Facebook page. We have branding. We have that consistent photo once again. Again, we're looking at Katie Silver. We have over here, number 3, a call now button. Easy to add. It's in your settings. You can just add it in there. You can also click on these 3 little dots here and add a call to action. And this is what it looks like. Maybe it's a call now button. Maybe it's a learn more that links to your website. Maybe it's a WhatsApp or something like that so people can chat with you, or maybe it's a Facebook Messenger button. There's different options there to choose. I often recommend call now. A large percentage of people make decisions about who they're going to work with based off of phone calls still. So it's a good way to close the deal if people actually call you from there. Over here, number 4, in that introduction, I'll sometimes see, often I don't see this used at all. But there's 3 things that you should have here. If you have a statement about yourself or a statement about what you do, put it there. Don't just rely on your category to do it for you. Put your contact information here. Your email address, don't just rely on it down here. This shows up in mobile very close to the top of the page, so they may not scroll down to see the rest of that information. You got a website address, and if you put a website address in, it becomes clickable. So link to your website. And then again, here in the Washington state, this is a great place to disclose your relationship with your brokerage, which is something that's required anywhere that you're in social media in Washington state. So we have her role, broker, Keller Williams Realty Bothell. Piece of cake. Now we have solved that. We get a little bit further down, consistent addresses. Once again, number 5, phone number, consistent emails, whatever. And then number 6, we have links, just like all of our other profiles, to her Instagram, to LinkedIn, to Zillow, different kinds of places so that people can easily continue their vetting process. And so that all of these profiles are, again, interlocked so they're easy to find. All right, that's the top 5 or 4. LinkedIn, a business profile, Realtor.com, Facebook, and Zillow. 5. If you have a presence on those 5, you're going to have a great presence in search results. And if you are not the kind of person that wants to communicate in social media, you're not the social butterfly, that's fine. Have those 5. It will make a difference to your business. So what about YouTube, Instagram, X, Threads, BlueSky, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? These are, if you're doing video in your business, and if you ask me or Denise, we would say, yeah, you should be doing that. Then having a good YouTube profile makes a difference. Then yes, have YouTube, but don't just create a channel and let it be empty. That's a waste of time. Instagram, very low bar of entry. Instagram also converts pretty well in their real estate vertical, so people interact with that. But don't just leave it at Instagram. Get it connected to your website. Use that information elsewhere. X, Threads, BlueSky, those kinds of things. These are conversation networks. They're not really going to serve your business. It's good if you have a little extra time and social media is really your focus and you're doing marketing and things like that. But unless you have already mastered those 5 that we talked about today, you're not going to get anything out of X, Threads, and BlueSky. Sorry. And it's just not going to help. But we can help.
Right. I put the link into your Google, I'm sorry, your Calendly link too in the chat. So if you need help,
Yep,
Randy is there to set up a
we
time to
can
chat.
help.
Don't be overwhelmed. I know he threw a lot at you today, but
Through a
really
lot of,
good
yes.
stuff.
You can go back through this video
Yeah.
because we'll post it tomorrow. You can go through this video and just pick one of those networks and
Hmm.
steal a few of the ideas. Just one. And inch by inch, little bit by little bit, it's going to get better and you're not going to have to think about this anymore. Don't get burnt out on it and try and do it all at once. Oh, especially LinkedIn. Do not try to do LinkedIn all at once. Just make little incremental changes and start with getting your photo up and your contact information. Photo and contact information. If you can just get that done, you're already leaps and bounds ahead of so many other agents that are out there. And then work your way up from there. Maybe a nice banner, something that's consistent across your networks. Because you'll notice here, I've got Sherry Butler and Matt Stapleton. We have very consistent kind of theming and stuff going on in terms of their photographs. So this is a good example of like how a team might work. And they do a lot of YouTube, so you can kind of see their YouTube channel up there at the top. But yeah, we can help. We can help you with banners. We can help you follow best practices. We can help you with privacy checks so that you're not sharing your birthday with the world and leaving yourself vulnerable to identity theft on LinkedIn. We can help you with consistency, making sure that your address is formatted correctly across everything. We check that everywhere. We can help you with completeness. Maybe you've got a really crummy bio in one place, but not in another, or you have business hours in one place, but not in another. You got them on Facebook, but you don't have them on your Google business profile. We can help make that more complete. Connectivity, I talked about that a lot today. So on your Facebook profile, looking at LinkedIn and vice versa, we can do that for you. And we can also make sure everything's up to date. So if we know you and you give us a portrait that's 20 years old, we'll be like, who are you trying to bait? Don't do that. Get a new picture. We'll help you put it in your social media profiles everywhere, but also up to date in terms of like poor Stephen, who I picked on a lot today, uh, making sure that the right brokerage and other information and that your legal duties are being performed here as well. So meet with me, schedule a little time with me, super easy. Um, just put a meeting with me on my calendar for 15 minutes. We'll talk about it.
So
And I
Randy,
can give
I have one question. So if you're an agent and looking at all the possibilities and maybe you don't have the resources to tackle everything at once, are you able to help prioritize like, hey,
yes.
for your, okay, so choose one, choose two, choose, however many
Hmm.
you've got the resources to deal with at once. Let's do
Yep.
one and then move on. Yeah.
Yep. Whether it's time or initiative or just where you are in life and you
Funds.
are trying to make a decision between should I do LinkedIn or should I do Google Business?
Right.
I can help you with decisions to fit your business best.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I can help
don't
you.
assume that if you don't have like thousands to do this project right now, that you
Yep.
can't start this project. You should start this project immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
agree. Anyways, that's the easiest way to reach out to me. So yeah, boom. In summary, what you don't know is hurting you. What you're
mhm.
not paying attention to out there, those crummy profiles that are unclaimed or empty or inconsistent, they're hurting you in so many different ways. They are steering people with misinformation. They're causing legal problems for you potentially because they are not meeting state guidelines and requirements. Uh, they're out of date with information, maybe about businesses that you don't work with anymore or areas you don't work in anymore. Um, that stuff makes a difference. It really does. So let's make a good first impression. People clearly are looking online to vet real estate agents. They are strongly considering reviews before they make that phone call. It's worth your time to have good looking profiles, even if you're not the kind of person that's going to use social media for the social part of it. Have good representation. That's the point.
Excellent, Randy. Randy, thank you so much for all this great information today. Thank you all for joining us. Denise will be back next week with a very special Denise Unleashed Fall Edition. The leaves are turning, the real estate market is cooking, and Denise is back with our fall edition of Denise Unleashed, where we put Coach Denise to the test with questions from our Club Zebra and coaching members. So this is your opportunity to send your questions in and ask Denise your tough questions, get her advice on situations that you or your clients are going through. Send yours to support@thelonusgroup.com, and we're going to answer as many as possible on next week's special edition of Denise Live. We'll see you all then. Until then, have a great week, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.